Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News on LA56.
Keeping the Ebola virus out of Los Angeles, the quarantine station set up at LAX.
A mystery in Norwalk where a strange beast is caught on camera roaming the streets. Some people are convinced it's a lion.
Thunder and lightning in the Inland Empire. Are we in for a weekend of wild weather? Good evening, I'm Ellen Leyva in for Colleen Sullivan.
And I'm David Ona. Welcome to Eyewitness News on LA56. We begin with that breaking news. A gunman holed up in a Pico Rivera house after a deputy-involved shooting. The suspect possibly holding a hostage. Bill Thomas is live at the scene in Air7 HD. Bill?
Yeah, for our friends in Pico Rivera, here's what's going on. SWAT deputies with the LA County Sheriff's Department, they tell us they've surrounded a home on the 9,000 block of Rosehedge in Pico Rivera. This is following a deputy-involved shooting this afternoon right by Smith Park, the sprawling Smith Park complex here in the neighborhood. They say none of the deputies were hit today, and unclear if the suspect was hit, but they say he has barricaded himself inside of a home. He may have a hostage, and earlier one person had to be rescued from that home by sheriff's deputies, and just a couple of blocks away, there's the body of that person rescued, covered up with a white sheet. On top of the white sheet, a red sheet, still hasn't been removed here from the neighborhood. Some of the homes here in the neighborhood have been evacuated. That's for everyone's safety. Crisis negotiators, they're trying to communicate with that suspect. So far, no arrests have been made. Reporting live from Air7 HD, I'm Bill Thomas, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Bill. An Ebola outbreak that has killed more than 700 people in West Africa is moving faster than efforts to control the disease. That's according to experts today. Quarantine stations have been established at several airports, including LAX, to stop the virus from entering the country. An Eyewitness News reporter Alex Michelson is live at LAX with all the details. Alex?
Ellen, the World Health Organization says that this is the worst outbreak of the Ebola virus ever. With that in mind, airports, including here at LAX, are taking extra precautions as that virus comes to America for the first time. Americans Nancy Wrightbull and Dr. Kent Brantley contracted the deadly Ebola virus while working with infected patients in Liberia. Now the two will be flown back to America one at a time in a special isolation pod like this one. Emory Hospital in Atlanta is preparing to become the first facility in the U.S. to ever treat a patient with Ebola.
And we feel that we have the environment and expertise to safely care for these patients and offer them the maximum opportunity for recovery from these infections.
Ebola is not spread through the air, but through close bodily contact. Wrightbull and Brantley will be isolated and taken to a secure unit similar to this one at the University of Nebraska, where doctors will use special equipment.
You can see that you can have a patient and you can start an IV or examine them by using these gloves.
Meanwhile, in Africa, the Ebola outbreak is spreading quicker than it can be contained. Doctors Without Borders calling it, quote, out of control. More than 700 people have died, and there are more than 1,300 known cases.
The key is identifying, quarantining, isolating those who contract it.
At Tom Bradley International here at LAX, the CDC has an isolation room set up to deal with diseases like Ebola. Some have taken to social media claiming the two Americans shouldn't be allowed back, but most we talked with are understanding.
I think they have the right to come back and get treated.
So you're not worried about it?
No.
I think it's a little bit risky, but I'm sure that they've taken all precautions to get, the patient back to the States safely.
Officials insist even if there are a few cases of Ebola here in America, they will be quickly isolated and contained, and that there is not a big threat here. Reporting live from LAX, Alex Michelson, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Alex, thank you. Friends and family packed a memorial service today for the USC graduate student who was beaten to death near campus. The crowd of mourners was so large, some people had to stand outside. Xing Ranji, who was from China, was attacked last week as he walked home in the early morning hours. The university is creating a scholarship in his honor. Under China's policy, he was his parents' only child. Students reached out to them today at the service. And a man is in jail accused of shooting his own step-grandchildren in Rossmore, one of them seriously injured. 72-year-old Michael Mollet is charged with attempted murder and is being held on $500,000 bail. Deputies say they found a man and woman with gunshot wounds last night on Tucker Lane. The victim's mother says her son was shot in the arm, her daughter shot in the head. A handgun was recovered at the scene. Investigators say the shooting stemmed from a domestic dispute. Mollet is due in court Monday.
Police have arrested a peeping suspect who's been lurking around the UCLA campus. Authorities arrested 46-year-old Christopher Mendocino in Santa Monica this morning. According to investigators, Mendocino has been prowling around the neighborhood near UCLA's Westwood campus for quite some time. Repair crews are scrambling to finish that work on the broken water main in Westwood, and they're hoping to have the pipeline repair finished sometime this weekend. More than 20 million gallons of water have gushed from the ruptured main since Tuesday. Meantime, a lot of people are still trying to get hundreds of flooded cars back from parking structures on the UCLA campus. Cars that were parked on the higher levels had little to no damage.
I am so pleased. I'm really relieved, yeah. I thought it would be worse, but it's actually dry, so I think we're good.
As for the cars on the lower levels, officials are still saying it's too dangerous to go down there with all the mud and debris. This as DWP workers are replacing the section of the pipe that burst and installing new valves. Hardwood court at UCLA's Poly Pavilion will also be replaced by the end of October.
There's a mystery in Norwalk where a strange four-legged creature has been spotted roaming the streets. Some think it's a lion, not a mountain lion, a lion. Some think it's just a big dog. However, whatever it is, it's definitely got everyone's attention, and Eyewitness News reporter Rudabeh shows us the mystery creature.
It's very trippy, to say the least.
Theories abound surrounding this mystery creature caught on surveillance camera roaming the quiet Norwalk neighborhood.
It looks like a dog also, but then I look at the head of it, and it looks like it has like the pointy the ears that the lions have, so I don't know.
The tail doesn't seem to match up to the physical traits of a mountain lion, so it's still a mystery. It could be potentially an animal that somebody kept illegally as a pet. Could be something that escaped from maybe a local zoo or not a zoo, but a circus or something like that. We just don't know at this point.
All hands are on deck. Wildlife experts working to analyze the video of the enigmatic four-legged animal, and city officials are eager to spread the word to residents.
Our goal is to really capture the animal and maybe put it in a safe place, not do any harm to the animal.
They also want to make sure people and their pets are in good hands.
I walk outside and I just keep looking up in the trees because I don't know if they hide in the trees or where they hide at.
People in this neighborhood are confounded and also a little worried.
It doesn't belong here. It's like, what's it doing over here? There's no mountains here or anything like that.
Arturo Rodriguez says he stayed home from work today to make sure his animals were safe.
I got a German Shepherd in Buford 3 Chihuahuas. Yes.
So
and I got a rabbit too.
We have small dogs, and my sister just got a new little dog. So we were just making sure, everybody just kept their pets inside.
Others say they've seen the animal before and that it's not aggressive, or for that matter, mysterious.
It's a big gray dog. It looks kind of like either a Rottweiler or a pit bull. And it just kind of goes through the neighborhood, marking spots, digging up trees, and goes on about his business.
Rudabeh Shabazi, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Parts of the Inland Empire saw some thunder and lightning today. This is video from Forest Falls, and you could see some lightning strikes and heavy rain. The sudden summer storm even sent some people running for cover. And in San Bernardino, it looked more like winter than summer. Pea-sized hail covered the area near Onyx Summit, where some people scooped it up in handfuls. Meteorologist Jonathan Novak has been tracking the wild weather all evening. Hey, Jonathan.
Hey, David. Hey, folks. Yeah, we told you might be a chance of rain in there as we head toward the weekend and as we go in through the weekend. Yes, there is that rain chance. We'll talk about how likely it is later, but you see most of the action today has been off to the east, but we have seen a few showers and storms fire up as we get a little bit closer in the IE over the mountain areas as that monsoonal moisture is trying to move through Southern California. The western edge of that monsoonal moisture playing out right there near Big Bear and south toward Palm Springs today. So, for right now, we've got some clouds tonight, okay? We have the marine layer in place. It's 74 degrees in Long Beach. Temperatures are pretty good overall. It wasn't too hot today. It's 81 right now in Burbank, so definitely not a heat wave right now. We're really focusing on the rain. It's great to talk about some chances of showers. 85 in Riverside, 101 Palm Springs, 90 in Palmdale right now, 65 in Oxnard. I'm going to show you one more image here before we toss back to the desk. I just want to show you where all that moisture is off to the east. It's going to be heading in our direction as we go in through Sunday. That does mean the rain chances go up. I'll tell you how likely the rain chances are, and does LA get in on the action? That's coming up in the 7-day forecast. I'll tell you about that in a few minutes.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. That'd be nice. At the last minute, House Republicans approved a $694 million bill aimed at addressing the immigration crisis at the U.S.-Mexico border. The bill would increase spending for overwhelmed border agencies and add more immigration judges and detention facilities. House Republicans also passed legislation to end a deportation relief program for immigrants brought illegally to the U.S. as kids. However, the Senate is already out of session for the summer, so neither bill stands a chance of becoming law. President Obama has vowed to act on his own if necessary.
And tonight, Congress also approved a $225 million package to replenish Israel's missile defenses known as the Iron Dome. The House vote followed the Senate's earlier approval. The bill now goes to President Obama. All this on a day that began with a 72-hour truce, but that ceasefire was shattered in less than 90 minutes after it began. ABC's Terry Moran reports from Gaza.
This morning, when the ceasefire took hold, there was quiet in Gaza. You could hear the birds chirp. And so the people of this battered land emerged from hiding to return home to what was left of their homes. Then, it was on again. Each side accusing the other of violating the ceasefire. It happened at one of those Hamas tunnels Israel's vowed to destroy. Israeli officials saying an army unit had been ambushed as they were clearing a tunnel after the ceasefire commenced. 2 soldiers killed and 1 apparently captured. The nightmare scenario for Israel. The missing soldier, 23-year-old Lieutenant Hadar Goldin, engaged to be married, his twin brother in the army too, and his father confident. We are certain the army will not stop, he said, and will bring Hadar back home, safe and sound. President Obama today demanding Lieutenant Goldin's return.
That soldier needs to be unconditionally released as soon as possible.
We saw firsthand this week how wary Israeli forces are of these tunnels, guns drawn, pointing down the shaft, ready for anything.
But you won't go in?
No.
The assumption is it's booby trapped?
The assumption is that it's booby trapped and there's maybe terrorists inside.
But today, at a UN shelter here in Gaza, Palestinians told us the capture of an Israeli is a triumph.
I think this is the right for Palestinians to defend themselves.
Now, with Israeli forces pressing hard, looking for their comrade, the war is intensifying, with no end in sight. Terry Moran, ABC News, Gaza.
And we're now hearing an eerie recording of former President Bill Clinton made just hours before the 9/11 attacks. In the recording released by Sky News Australia, Mr. Clinton tells a group of Australia businessmen that he had a chance to kill Osama bin Laden some years earlier.
He's a very smart guy. I spent a lot of time thinking about him. And I nearly got him once. I nearly got him. And I could have killed him, but I would have had to destroy a little town called Kandahar in Afghanistan and kill 300 innocent women and children. And then I would have been no better than him.
Former Australian politician Michael Kroger says the conversation was recorded with the former president's permission, but he had forgotten about it until last week.
Up next, a 90-year-old grandma keeps police at bay with a shotgun.
Plus, it's neighbor versus neighbor in an overheated community. What sparked this melee?
And caught on camera, a native Amazon tribe's first ever encounter with the outside world. Why it did not go well for the people who found them.
After more than a week without power, tensions are running so high at a mobile home park in Washington state that fights are breaking out. Some of the brawls were caught on video as a TV news crew showed up to do a story on the outage. The big storm knocked out the electricity 8 days ago, and power still off to about half the property. Sheriff's deputies had to break up the fights. Property manager says she's even getting death threats. And a bizarre scene in Texas. A 90-year-old grandma armed with a 12-gauge shotgun sat on her porch and held up a SWAT team for 4 hours. Officers had received a call from construction workers next door who said Eloise Adcock was threatening them with a gun. Police say Adcock was upset that workers were loading dirt into a barge behind her home. A towing company had purchased all the land in the neighborhood, but Adcock had to refuse to sell her property. Adcock finally surrendered to police and was taken to a hospital for evaluation.
We're getting a rare look at video of a tribe of indigenous people in Brazil and their first contact with the outside world. The tribe lives in virtual isolation in the rainforest along Brazil's border with Peru. The Brazilian National Indian Foundation released this video. That agency provides medical care to another less isolated group of Indians who helped make contact with the previously unknown tribe. It was not a happy encounter, though. The isolated tribe showed up with bows and arrows and then looted the other tribe's village.
Jonathan Novak here, and the weekend's coming, and maybe some storms.
Yeah, we've been talking about this, you know, and there actually were some storms today playing out over the mountain areas and in the IE. As this monsoonal moisture really pushes in, we get what's called orographic lift.
Ooh,
David?
fancy.
You guys, oh, no? Okay. It's a good one.
Cool.
Usually I don't throw out the big words.
I'd write it down, I don't know how to spell it.
Neither do I. You don't need to know how to spell it. You just need to know what it is. It's when the moisture is riding up, let's say, the mountain slopes, and that's how you get the rain that way, as opposed to a disturbance rolling through the atmosphere, providing the lift. You get it from the actual topography of the Earth. Good, right? Okay. This is some of the shower activity we had today, and this is a time lapse showing a little bit of the rain as we look down from our camera. Angeles National Forest. Beautiful shot there. Here's the radar imagery from earlier. And you see a lot of that activity maintained off to the east. That's where the best chances are going to be as we go in through Saturday and into Sunday. But I think by Sunday we could bring that rain chance over LA. I'm going to tell you why in just a moment. There's a couple of factors going on. But look at another perspective. The visible satellite. First, this was at noon-ish, around 12:30 p.m. All that cloud cover off to the west. But off to the east, storms already starting to get going around Big Bear this afternoon. And then that's all those clouds, the high clouds, those cumulonimbus clouds, firing up on that visible satellite. Really cool to see that. That's basically a picture being taken from a satellite in space. Almanac, 85 is our high today in downtown LA. 84 is our normal, so pretty much where we should be. And temperatures are not going to be all that crazy in terms of going up beyond average or going too cool. It's right about normal for the most part for most of the forecast. We're talking about rain for the next few days, really. LAX got the clouds moving in already. It is 68 degrees with west winds, 12 miles an hour. A comfortable evening. We can't rule out a shower still over the mountains, but otherwise we'll keep it dry. It's 90 in Santa Clarita and 81 in Ojai. So here's all the real heavy activity off to the east. What's going to happen over the next couple of days, 24 to 36 hours. High pressure is going to try to shift enough to the west to give us more and more of that monsoonal moisture, but low pressure off to the west is going to keep that at bay just enough that the rain chances, and you see that satellite imagery there, the water vapor, all that moisture is going to stay just far east enough where LA gets a rain chance, but it's not too significant. But it's in there at least. And the future scan shows that low pressure building in on Sunday. If it weren't there, we would have rain for everybody, but that's what's going to keep the rain chances on the low end for LA. But still over the mountains, got that chance of rain all weekend, even some thunder tonight, tomorrow, Sunday. Beaches at 70, the mountains at 57. Low desert at 85, highs tomorrow, about average. 98 Palmdale, 80 in Inglewood, 92 Covina, and 95 in Encino. All right, let's get to it. 7-day forecast, LA Metro and Orange County. We're going to keep it dry tomorrow in LA. A slight chance on Sunday, again, as high pressure slides in and really tries to bring that monsoonal moisture in, and then we're going to take out the rain chance for the rest of the forecast. You don't see anything too hot, lower 80s for the most part. Valley's IE, you don't get past 95 for a high temperature. Slight chance of rain on Sunday. The best chance, and in fact, a chance of flooding in the mountains tomorrow and Sunday, the temperatures dipping down 70 by Sunday. The high desert, of course, you have that chance too. Those showers roll over the mountains and we get some light rain to moderate rain on Saturday and Sunday, maybe even a storm or two on Sunday. And then it's going to be breezy and hot next Tuesday and Wednesday in the high desert. We got another look coming up in a few minutes at the forecast. Back to you guys today.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. A group of athletes is moving into a national park for an adventure that is hard to believe. They reach a velocity they say is like being shot out of a cannon. But tonight, their risky fun may be ending, and officials are clamping down. ABC's Gio Benitez reports.
These high-speed extreme rope jumps are taking YouTube by storm. But the New York Times reporting this week that federal officials are considering barring daredevil jumpers from those famous rock arches in Utah.
Right now, our agency is considering a 2-year temporary restriction on roped activities.
It's a thrill that has cost lives. Last year, 22-year-old Kyle Stocking was killed when he hit the ground. His rope was just too long. But that hasn't stopped adventurers from trying the jumps. This video, which has now been seen more than 23 million times on YouTube, was produced by swinging enthusiast Austin Baird.
If done properly, climbing, jumping off arches, rope swings, canyoneering can be just as safe as any other activity.
Baird's team spends 2 hours securing the ropes for each swing, testing the system by tossing over a bag full of rocks as heavy as a man to make sure it doesn't hit anything.
To put it in perspective, we're talking about a 130-foot free fall. The rope takes them about 10 feet above the ground, then shoots them back up another 100 feet. And enthusiasts say it's an adrenaline rush.
And sometimes the risks have nothing to do with the jump at all. Watch as this man slips. Those close calls are why tonight, aerial rope sports may soon have an end date. Gio Benitez, ABC News, New York.
2 weeks after it was granted a temporary reprieve, a colorful mural in downtown Los Angeles will be taken down. It's now been determined that the mural violates the historical status of the building on the 500 block of South Los Angeles Street. It would no longer get tax credits. The mural was commissioned by the pop band Foster the People. A site will be selected for the group to put up a new mural.
Up next, how susceptible is your car to hackers?
Plus, Facebook users call 911 when the popular social media site goes down.
And thousands turn out to say goodbye to track star and war hero Louis Zamperini. A look at this extraordinary man and his remarkable life.
And do you have a question for Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti? Log on to abc7.com/newsmakers, then click on Submit Your Question. He could answer it on an upcoming edition of Eyewitness Newsmakers.
Many Facebook users couldn't log on to the world's #1 social network for about 1 hour today, but Facebook is back and running right now, so don't panic. Earlier, users were greeted with the message, "Sorry, something went wrong. We're working on getting this fixed as soon as possible." But that apparently triggered calls to the LAPD. Believe that? People called the police because they couldn't get onto Facebook. The department tweeted asking people not to ask about when Facebook would be back up because they don't know. It's not known what caused the latest outage or how many of Facebook's 1.3 billion users were affected.
Crazy. High-tech cars are all the rage these days, but be warned, they can be hacked. A new report ranks the 2014 Jeep Cherokee as the most hackable car on the road today, followed by the 2015 Cadillac Escalade and the 2014 Toyota Prius. Apparently, the car's built-in apps and Bluetooth are to blame. And as for the least hackable cars on the road, that would be the 2014 Dodge Viper and the 2014 Audi A8.
Well, up next, we update today's top stories, including the latest on the growing Ebola scare.
Plus, we're hearing from a doctor who put himself in quarantine in Tennessee, waiting to see if he was also exposed. And this story.
A mystery illness is affecting perhaps dozens of horses here in the high desert. Could it be something they're eating? I'm Rob McMillan in Phelan. We'll explore that issue coming up.
Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News on LA56.
Updating our top stories, a mystery creature captured on surveillance video in Norwalk as everyone's scratching their heads. Officials have not been able to identify this animal or where it may have come from. City officials have warned residents to be cautious.
A Middle East ceasefire has failed. Both Israel and Hamas are accusing each other of breaking the ceasefire. 2 Israeli soldiers and 60 Palestinians were killed today. Those soldiers died when gunmen emerged from Gaza tunnels and opened fire.
Doctors are struggling to keep up with the growing Ebola outbreak. More than 700 people have died from the virus in West Africa. The Centers for Disease Control has issued a travel alert for the region. It's also staffing 20 border crossings in U.S. airports, including LAX, to evaluate any travelers with signs of Ebola. Good evening. I'm David Ona.
And I'm Ellen Leva in for Colleen Sullivan. Welcome back to ABC7 Eyewitness News on LA56. And tonight we're meeting another American doctor who worked in the same hot zone with one of the infected missionaries. He was placed himself in quarantine right here at home. And today from isolation in Tennessee, he spoke with ABC's Ron Claiborne about these days watching for any possible symptoms of the disease.
This was Dr. Alan Jameson at the airport 3 weeks ago, suitcase in hand, departing as a volunteer to treat Ebola patients in Liberia. And this is Dr. Jameson today. We are Skyping with him because he's in complete isolation. He quarantined himself in his own home in Morristown, Tennessee, when he returned 3 days ago.
With this disease, I'm just being cautious.
Dr. Jameson is concerned he may have been exposed to the deadly disease in Liberia. So when his organization, Medical Teams International, sent him back home because of security concerns, he went straight to his house, even keeping his distance from his own daughter, who met him at the airport, not touching anyone. Now he is home alone, no one allowed in, and he doesn't leave. He monitors his own temperature twice a day for fever, one of the earliest symptoms of Ebola.
I feel in excellent health. I'm feeling very comfortable.
How confident are you that you have not contracted it?
I'm very confident at this point in time because of the period of time I've been without symptoms from the last exposure.
Dr. Jameson, a retired pediatrician who's done previous volunteer work in Somalia and Haiti, wore full protective gear every time he was with an infected patient. He last worked with Ebola patients last Saturday at the same hospital where fellow American Dr. Kent Brantley was infected. Dr. Jameson intends to remain inside his house for up to 21 days since his last contact with an Ebola patient. That is the longest known incubation period for the virus. And he says he's willing, even wants to go back to the danger zone.
I would have no problems with returning. This is a mission I've chosen in life. My mission is to be of maximum service to others in what capabilities I can.
Again, that was ABC's Ron Claiborne reporting.
A warning: if you live in Monterey Hills, police are searching for a sexual assault suspect who is targeting females in Debs Park. They released this sketch. There have been 3 reported incidents. In one case, the victim was groped. In another, the suspect punched the female victim in the face and threatened her with a knife. The suspect is described as Hispanic with a light complexion, short dark hair, 20 to 25 years old, approximately 5 feet 7 inches tall, and weighing 140 to 160 pounds. If you recognize the suspect, you're asked to contact police. And a convicted serial killer already sentenced to death for murdering 10 women in South Los Angeles was given additional death sentences today for 4 other killings. Chester Turner is convicted of murdering a total of 14 women between 1987 and 1998. While victims' family members celebrated, Turner showed no emotion as the judge handed down today's sentence. The 47-year-old was linked to the additional killing through DNA testing while he was on death row.
If you bought anything from a San Clemente food stand lately, listen up. Orange County health officials are urging customers of VR Green Farms to throw out jarred food products. The warning comes after some customers got sick from botulism, a rare but sometimes deadly illness. Food was being sold at a stand on Avenida La Pata in San Clemente. The potentially tainted products are in Mason-style glass jars with screw-on metal lids. VR Green Farms is voluntarily recalling products both sold online and at their food stand. And a mystery over sick horses in the high desert community of Phelan. Why are some of them coming down with a skin disease? And now horse owners fear the illness is spreading. Inland Empire Bureau Chief Rob McMillan paid a visit to the San Bernardino County community of Phelan to see the problem firsthand.
Kendall Moline of Phelan says it's awful to see her horses in this condition.
Her eyes are swollen almost to being completely shut.
It's called photodermatitis.
She started to blister up and sunburn. She started looking a little lethargic.
But she says one of the scariest things, this doesn't appear to be an isolated case.
I've heard about 70 other horses have come down with something like this.
I don't know what this even is.
Stephanie Dorn says her horse is showing similar symptoms.
She has mouth sores all over her whole entire muzzle and her lips just swollen humongous.
They say they've also heard of this problem in Norco, and one of our viewers sent in this picture from Agua Dulce.
I've never seen anything like this.
So what's causing it? The thought among many, a bad batch of hay.
Pull your hay, pull whatever you can, you know, if you start noticing stuff like this.
This is a batch of the hay that Malene thinks is causing all of the problems, but exactly what's wrong with it is still a mystery.
Speaking with professionals, veterinarians, and the toxicologists up in UC Davis, it is a mystery.
Chuck Burt runs one of the feed stores that sold the hay in question. They've since pulled it from the shelves and are offering refunds. UC Davis tested the hay, and it came back clean. They say it's possible this is just an anomaly that was caused by the drought.
It's the first time I've seen it. It's the first time a lot of people have seen it.
Whatever the case, these horse owners are spooked, and they hope to spread the word before more horses get sick.
Just hopefully mine will live through it. Since nobody will even tell us what it is, we've gotten so many different answers. It's that's kind of heartbreaking.
In Phelan, Rob McMillan, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
We are hearing from 2 American tourists detained in North Korea over alleged anti-state crimes.
I am now requesting help from the American government, the citizens of America, and the world to release me from this situation.
Matthew Todd Miller and Jeffrey Edward Fowl have been detained for more than 3 months. They're pleading for the U.S. government to secure their release. The men say they're in good health and are being treated well, but it's unclear if their comments were coerced. North Korea says the pair committed hostile acts, violating their status as tourists.
A big turnout in Torrance to honor hometown hero Louis Zamperini, who died this month at the age of 97. His life is so remarkable that it's the subject of an upcoming film directed by Angelina Jolie. Eyewitness News reporter Alex Michelson was at last night's memorial.
Military planes flying the missing man formation. Thousands honor perhaps Torrance's most famous son, Louis Zamperini. It's an extraordinary tribute to an extraordinary symbol of survival.
Everything happened to him. Beauty and terror. He just kept going.
Torrance High's track team runs a ceremonial lap to honor the man their stadium is named after. Back in the 1930s, Zamperini set a national high school record here for running the mile. Just like back then, one student breaks away from the pack to honor Louis' dominance. Zamperini became a track star at USC and will compete in the 1936 Olympics in Germany. The host of the games, Adolf Hitler, complimented him on his speed. Zamperini then stole a Nazi flag. Lieutenant Zamperini would fight in World War II. His plane went down over the Pacific. The upcoming film Unbroken portrays his struggle from there. Zamperini would survive on the open water for 47 days. After all that, he was captured by the enemy as a POW for 2 years. Bill Sanchez served in the POW camps with Zamperini.
People will never know what Louis went through. He suffered a lot.
Zamperini eventually returned home a war hero, but also an addict. His life turned around after he became a born-again Christian. Zamperini set up camps for youth with addiction issues, like Kyle Gauthier.
Without Louis, I don't think I ever would have gone to that school, and I would either be in jail, rehab, or mental institution.
Zamperini's story became the inspiration for the best-selling book Unbroken. Angelina Jolie is now directing the film of the same name.
Angelina, she's our angel, and she was an angel to our father.
Zamperini was supposed to be the Grand Marshal for this year's Rose Parade. His family is sad he never got that chance, but grateful for this overwhelming show of support from the community. What do you think is the lesson that everybody can learn from him?
Never give up, never give in, keep persevering, be hardy.
The film Unbroken is set to be released on Christmas Day. On New Year's Day, there'll be a special tribute to Zamperini at the Rose Parade. Reporting from Torrance, Alex Michelson, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Up next, a leaked Sylvester Stallone movie cost the studio millions of dollars.
And looking for something fun to do this weekend, how about the rock musical Hair at the Hollywood Bowl? Our entertainment crew has a sneak peek when we come back.
Hey, you're going to want to know what the weather is going to be like this weekend if you're heading outside. We do have rain in the forecast, more clouds like this. Familiar today. Details coming up in your 7 Day.
A leaked copy of the new movie The Expendables 3 is expected to cost the studio millions of dollars in lost revenue. Lionsgate has now filed a lawsuit against 10 anonymous people. The studio contends the 10 were responsible for illegally sharing a digital copy of the sequel, and after the pirated copy was stolen, it was shared more than 2 million times. The Expendables 3 will be in theaters August 15th.
It's been nearly 50 years since the rock musical Hair kicked up controversy with its themes of hippie counterculture and the sexual revolution of the 1960s. Well, this weekend, Hair comes to the Hollywood Bowl. Entertainment guru George Pinocchio takes us behind the scenes for a special rehearsal.
Once you said Hollywood Bowl, I didn't need to hear anything else.
The artists in the ensemble cast of this weekend's production of Hair are thrilled to have the chance to perform the musical at the legendary Hollywood Bowl.
I'm an LA boy. I'm born and raised, so I've been going my whole life to the bowl. It's a dream come true to finally get to be on that stage.
The musical, which debuted in 1967, follows the story of a tribe of politically active hippies living in New York City and protesting against the Vietnam War.
It's unlike a lot of other theater productions because the whole thing is a big, trippy party. It's a piece of our history, and it's about a certain type of person called the hippie who stood for something and the reasons that they did. And, you know, the complex and convoluted thoughts and feelings about war because you lose lives, they still exist today. So I think it's still relevant, and I think that's what keeps the piece so powerful.
I actually really do love the music from the 60s, the way they dress, you know, and I think that this play, in some ways, a lot of people who, you know, are older, who remember that era will come, and then you will have a lot of people who are younger, who just heard about it, read about it, you know, seen movies about it, who will come and support it.
It really is about freedom and doing what it is that you feel. And that's why I was excited to do a show like this. I've never done anything like this. And it's going to be great. So everybody has to watch and see.
You're a little too late to see hair tonight, but you can still see it tomorrow or Sunday night at the Hollywood Bowl. George Pinocchio, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Happy birthday, Orange County, which turns 125 years old today. Some photos from the county archives gives you an idea just how much has changed in a century and a quarter. Imagine visiting these beautiful beaches before they were developed. There had been earlier attempts to establish Orange County in the 1870s and 1880s, and finally, in 1889, voters approved a plan to incorporate. And by the way, that vote was a couple thousand for and a few hundred against. 125 years later, the county's population is about 3 million.
Meteorologist Jonathan Novak is up next with your weekend forecast.
Plus, an amazing recovery in Rolling Hills Estates as rescue crews recover rare fossils. A curious shark came dangerously close to shore in Florida. This video shows the 10-foot-long hammerhead sneaking up on swimmers and people laying on rafts. People on shore yelled to warn them, but many didn't seem to hear and stayed in the water. The shark didn't harm anybody. It swam around for about 15 minutes and then returned to the open water.
Jonathan Novak joins us now, and the weekend's finally here.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Your weekend.
Well, sorry.
We took an official survey, and George and you guys and me, we all agree we'd rather have the warm, humid, with a chance of rain weather than the hot, heat wave, but dry weather.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
I agree.
4-0, that means that's what we will have. That's how it works.
Okay.
Nice. I wish. Don't you wish it worked like that? Snap your fingers and
take a vote.
I know. That'd be cool if weather were a democracy. All right. Hey, we're looking outside. Our time lapse from today over Big Bear, some cumulus clouds and some rain to go along with it. And a chance of rain in there for tomorrow too, folks. Okay? This is looking back from about noon, and you see that it's very clear where the moisture is off to the east. That shower activity lined up right there, and it's going to be like that tomorrow once again. And in fact, you can see the high and mid-level clouds that got blown off the top of those storms earlier today. Now the sun went down, and so we don't have that heat to provide that convection at the moment, but we will again tomorrow, so chance of rain in there for tomorrow for the mountains. Downtown, though, we can keep it dry tonight and tomorrow, 74, calm, beautiful. Burbank, 81, calm, beautiful. And we head to Palmdale, it's 90, still kind of hot up there, 65 in Oxnard, and nice, mild, beautiful. Santa Monica, 68 right now, and we will have the marine layer in place for the coastal areas, by the way, tonight. So, yeah, look at this. That moisture, that monsoonal moisture really stuck just off to the east of our area, skirting the eastern portions of our area. We're going to get it over to the west a little bit as we go in through late Saturday and into Sunday. Yes, that means a chance of rain will start moving to the west over L.A. as we go through Sunday. Let me show you the future rainfall here. This is a close-in model, and this is going to show you in high resolution the rain chances Friday into Saturday into Sunday. So watch Saturday, 1 p.m. I stop it. Rain chance enters the picture down to the south from Temecula to Hemet, Palm Springs even, and a couple of showers and storms could pop up again over the mountain areas. Can't rule that out at all. Then the chance of rain gets better as you go through Saturday night down to the south-southeast. That rain chance will shift up. And on Sunday, 2 a.m., 4:30 a.m., and 6 a.m., we get a rain chance going all the way through Orange County, up to LA County, and even Ventura County possibly. Chance is low, and it's not for anything heavy, but the chance is in there for Sunday for a shower or two. Otherwise, tonight, mountain thunder is possible, but it's only about 10% tonight, so otherwise we can keep it dry and a little bit of beach fog with mild weather. Tomorrow, I'd say mild to hot, 92 Glendale, and 100 in Santa Clarita, 90 in Frazier Park, maybe a storm around Big Bear or just off to the east. 76 in Big Bear tomorrow and 102 in Palm Springs. 70 forecast for LA Metro and Orange County. I told you, you're going to keep it dry on Saturday, but the rain chance comes in on Sunday, just a small one. And then keep it dry again on Monday, and temperatures at about average. The valleys, pretty similar, except watch out tomorrow. We do have the air quality in the unhealthy category. Any outdoor activities, you're going to want to keep that in mind if you have any asthma-related issues. And there we go. The rain chance is much better in the mountains. 40% chance on Saturday and Sunday. And then the high desert with a chance as well, Saturday and Sunday, temps in the 90s. Dallas has more, ABC7 and 11.
Jonathan, thank you.
You're welcome.
Dan Herron is on the mound for the Dodgers tonight and looking to avoid a career-high 5-game losing streak. Big Blue, meanwhile, is on a different streak, looking for a season-best 7th straight win as they welcome the Cubs to town. Full highlights tonight as soon as 11 p.m. Meantime, Angels opening a 3-game set against the Rays in Tampa. Top of the first, Mike Trout with a laser shot down the left field line. That one was on a rope, and it's his 25th homer of the season. It gives the Halos a 2-zip lead. 2 innings later, Josh Hamilton's turn with a long ball, this time going just inside the right field foul pole, making it a 4-1 lead. Angels led 5-3 in the 9th. Houston Street loaded the bases. Matt Joyce pops one to the outfield. Eric Ibar drifting out while Trout comes racing in. Trout makes the catch before the two can collide. Angels survive this one. 5-3 is the final. A big injury at the Team USA basketball scrimmage in Las Vegas. Paul George of the Indiana Pacers suffered a devastating injury to his right leg after getting it caught on the stanchion of the hoop trying to block a shot. We're not going to show you the injury because it's just too gruesome. But the Palmdale native was taken to a local hospital after the injury, and the game was called off in the middle of the fourth quarter. George averaged nearly 27 points a game for the Pacers last season. He will be missed. Yesterday, golfer Dustin Johnson announced he was taking a leave of absence from the PGA Tour to get some help on a couple of issues. Today, a report at golf.com says Johnson has been suspended for 6 months after his 3rd failed drug test and 2nd since 2012. The 30-year-old is one of the golf's top players and will leave a big hole in the U.S. Ryder Cup roster. And Johnson's first missed event is the WGC Bridgestone in Akron. Tiger Woods stumbled on the afternoon, finishing with 4 bogeys to just 3 birdies on the round, falling from 9th overall to a tie for 25th. Round 2 was kind to British Open champion Rory McIlroy, who vaulted 11 spots to a tie for 3rd after a 6-under 64 leaves him at 7-under for the tournament. But it was Sergio Garcia who blazed the course, dropping 8 birdies on the final 9 holes of the day. His bogey-free 61 tied the course record as he leads by 3 strokes at 11 under.
LA County Sheriff's search and rescue team was called out to a hillside in Rolling Hills Estates today. It wasn't for an emergency, but rather to help recover a rare 14-million-year-old whale fossil. Eyewitness News reporter Sid Garcia has more on the unusual recovery effort.
They're using their skills to remove something that's been in this Rolling Hills Estates canyon literally for millions of years. It is the fossiled head of a baleen whale. Gary Johnson found it behind his home nearly 40 years ago. He and some friends rolled this 1,500-pound skull up from the creek to this spot.
We called the Gorilla Museum. They came out. They thought it was whale, and they thought it was 14 million years old, which they were right. But they said, we can't get it out of here. There's no way we can get this thing out of here. It's too heavy.
And once the fossil is lifted from here, its new home, the Museum of Natural History of Los Angeles in Exposition Park. Howell Thomas is with the Natural History Museum.
This is a great specimen. Fossil baleen is very rare, so anytime we can find and collect fossil baleen for the museum, we're really excited. We probably have 6 or 7 specimens at the most there after 100 years of the museum being around.
Another whale fossil was found nearby, so that's what got the ball rolling to remove this one. Once at the Natural History Museum, it won't be put on display. This fossil will be used for research purposes. Thomas says he estimates the fossil is between 14 to 16 million years old. Sid Garcia, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
More news straight ahead here at 8 o'clock and ahead tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on KABC. He's found more than 800 lawsuits against small business owners here in Southern California. And serial plaintiff, illegal immigrant, and convicted felon Alfredo Garcia has been deported, but that has not stopped him from causing legal nightmares for business owners. Plus, the movie that shows how music is making a difference in medicine. We'll have these stories and all the late-breaking news on Southern California's #1 late newscast, Eyewitness News at 11, here on KABC.
Sunset Magazine is getting ready to open its first Idea House in Manhattan Beach. It's more than just a beautiful home. It's intended to reflect the California lifestyle. The design blurs the lines between living outside and inside. It's completely solar. The fixtures conserve water, and the plants are drought tolerant. Sunset Magazine will offer tours to the public.
Thanks for joining us for Eyewitness News at 8 here on LA56. Law and Order SVU is coming up next.